Good evening. I'm Darcella Cooper Sanders, and this is my final project on interpersonal communications. My introduction pretty much is that communication is what makes the world go around. We are taught infants how to communicate, and as we grow from adults to teens to young adults to older adults, we are constantly perfecting how we communicate in a positive way. Our communication is based on our upbringing, our parents, our environment, and as we grow as adults, our experiences tend to alter how we communicate as adults, as people. In the communication process, we have the communication loop. I look at the communication loop like a highway. In order to be able for your car to get successfully to point A to point B, it needs to be clear. Cars need to be moving. So with the communication loop, it's from the sender to the receiver. So in between that message being sent to the receiver, there's a lot of things that could distort it, whether it's difference of opinion, cultural background, you just don't like them, maybe you just don't understand where the person is coming from. So there's a lot that could affect the communication loop. But when the communication loop is up and working, all traffic is flowing properly, getting to the sender and the receiver. Identifying oneself in the communication loop, we have a sender and a receiver. You have to know yourself in order to realize how you're communicating to others, how others perceive you. As children grow into adults, they adapt many habits and views and thought processes that plays in how they communicate with others. Also, different environments and different experiences will add or take away from how someone successfully, whether they're talking or whether they're listening, how they actually interact and listen to others in the communication flow. In the communication loop, whether it's work or home, because we communicate in both areas, we have to realize that there's a choice whether to talk, there's a choice whether to listen. So either side is engaged in the conversation to actually get across what they need to get across successfully. Your temperament, your attitude, your demeanor, your dislikes, your likes will play a big part in how successful the communication loop is between yourself and others. My lifestyle and my communication style is based on the fact that I was raised in a female-ran household. My grandmother and my mother raised me. They were very domineering women. They were very in-your-face type of women. There was an expectation for you to do your best at all times. Excuses was not accepted. So, and you persevered regardless of the circumstances or the situations. So as a leader, as a mother, as a friend, I carry those characteristics in me and how I communicate and how I lead as a sailor. And sometimes it can be very aggressive to some people and come across pretty strong. So that has been a difficulty with me in my communication process. However, I'm realizing that with patience, constant learning, my communication style can be perfected. How do I tend to repair my communication loop? I have to realize that everyone was not raised like me. Everybody does not have the same experiences or same expectations or same view on life. So with that being said, I have to be cognizant of my audience. I have to be cognizant of my environment. And I also have to be cognizant of the words that I say to others, because at the end of the day, my words could build up or they could tear down. So me as the sender or even the receiver, as the receiver, I really have to work on listening, because if I don't agree with it, or I don't like you, or I feel some type of way about what you're saying to me, I tend to tune you out, or I want to interject and intervene. And that's something I really have to work on, and I'm really trying to work on that. I'm currently in the United States Navy. I was just advanced to E9, which is the highest ranking pay grade in the United States Navy. My communication style is very aggressive. It's very no nonsense. It's very honest. A lot of my sailors and some of my peers feel that my communication style is very harsh. I'm working on that. As I have taken classes with Liberty, I have really strived to soften my approach, be more mindful and tactful of other people's feelings, really pay attention and listen to what they're saying to me and take on board what they're saying to me, to stop, pray, and reflect that when I do speak to them, or I'm talking to them, or I'm listening to them, that I'm engaged and I'm involved. I think that makes people feel better and allows me to grow as a leader, as a person. The Classes at Liberty has really assisted me in my walk with leadership, communication, and exercising godly counsel. I like to get my point across. When people are talking and I don't agree with them, I tend to want to butt in. I want to tend to shut them down and tend to want to just say what I want to say. I'm realizing as a person and as a leader, that's not what I want to do. That's not how I want to treat people. I really want to be engaged and helpful and not harmful to them. My barriers is my attitude and my anger and sometimes my aggressiveness. Those barriers tend to block blessings for me and for others. So I've really took on board stopping, reflecting, and praying, and really looking at it from somebody else's point of view. When I get angry, I just stop, walk off, and have a conversation with God. I stop and listen now, and I really, really pay attention to what the person is saying to me. I realize my barriers really affect how I communicate successfully with the people around me, whether it's personal or professional. I realize my shortcomings is communications, and I really, really have to work on it, and it's something I'm really striving to do. A communication highway, we talked about that earlier, but I believe a continuous loop is what's successful and what is going to build successful communications between myself and others. And whether I dislike the person, or I'm stressed, or I'm upset, or I'm angry, I have to stop and remember I'm a child of God, setting the example. And in doing so, I have to offer mercy. I have to offer grace. I have to offer understanding. I also have to offer forgiveness, because sometimes people may have wronged me or made me feel some type of way. So I have to be grown enough to acknowledge that and forgive them and treat them as God would want me to treat them. The solutions to the barriers are pretty much stressed those and talked about those, but I really do think timing. I really do think enlarging my mindset and viewpoint that everybody is not the same. Everybody is not me. I have to be respectful and tactful of other people's feelings. Enlarging the conversation. By enlarging the conversation, I feel that taking into account all the negatives and all the positives that can be brought to a conversation or could tear up a communication loop, I have to be mindful and tactful, and I have to be engaged and willing to learn as a person and as a leader and as a Christian to better be able to communicate to others, as well as be mindful and respectful of others. I think when you are mindful and respectful of others, you can get a lot accomplished. I think if you offer empathy and understanding, that people tend to just want to be understood and cared about. So that is something I'm learning as a leader and a person and a Christian, that sometimes I have to take myself out the equation, put God in the equation to get what I need and what others may need. My action plan is to continue to move forward, studying communication material, treating others as I want to be treated, realizing the barriers, whether it's my attitude, whether it's my demeanor, whether it's my honestness, whether it's just not thinking of others. I realize at the end of the day that we're all human beings and we communicate differently. And I have to insert God into what I'm doing to be able to, one, effectively talk to people, effectively make a difference in their life, and effectively be able to be the person that God wants me to be. My words can tear down or build up, and I really want to build people up. I also have to have forgiveness. Forgiveness, whether you did wrong or you didn't do wrong. I have to forgive people based on what I think they did, because maybe they didn't even know they did it. So I think those barriers, once they're accomplished, that they can be great things. And my final words are, I am really blessed and honored to have attended this class. It has enlarged my life and made me stop and look at things a lot different. Thank you.